Good morning, garden lovers. It is Saturday, and what a glorious day it is. We had rain last night, a much needed rain. And so I thought I'd do a video because after the rain, the plants always look prettier than usual. And so, yeah, so let's walk the garden with me and with ghost. Look, the ghost is already stained with coffee. And let's see what happened from the rain. So hold on, let me take a sip. And also a lot, I've done a lot actually in the garden, including cleaning up an area that used to be a garden, but you know, when I was working, I didn't have time for all of them, so it got overgrown with, you know, tree seedlings and brambles and all that stuff. And then hubby actually offered to help clean it up for me, and so I went over there. I think I can show you. It's very ugly. So this is the tea garden, and if you pan, I'm sorry, I'm under the dogwood tree. And if you know, the tea garden is over here, and then there's a dogwood that is turning color, beautiful, and it's gonna get even more beautiful in the coming days. So by the way, it is the 6th of September. And so that area over there, I also have that area as a part of the tea garden that I need to clean up. And the reason why I'm putting it off is because it's full of poison ivy, and I don't want to spray. I really need a good strategy to tackle that. So, but anyway, it's that area over there. And it's, as you can see, there is a tulip magnolia is anchoring that space right there, and it's very beautiful. Tulip magnolia is my favorite, that dark purple. And that was actually, and the more reason for it to be special to me is my sister gave it to me. She got it for $2 as a sale from leftover, you know, whatever, from Home Depot. And it's been years, and it, you know, where it's at is actually very protected because all the oaks that is surrounding it. And so it blooms early, and it usually, tulip magnolia usually gets the frost always get the blooms because they bloom so early. But that one, it always escape the wrath of the first frost in the spring. Well, not first, but the spring frost, because it's so protected by all the oaks around it. So so I've been cutting, like, you know, as a start, so when he runs it over with the tractor or the lawnmower or whatever he's gonna do it, you know, the big stemmed junk or weed is out of the way. And in the process, I was so scared actually that day that I was gonna get a poison ivy rash. I stepped and went through poison ivy, and so I decided that, you know, that was the end of my rinky-dink anyway, but it served me well for years, my garden shoes. So I went ahead and got me, sorry, you know, a new garden shoes, a better quality actually, a hunter, and I love that color, and the two on that piping color of a different shade of green. It's so beautiful. It was on sale, and it was free shipping. And it's, you know, because of the sale, it actually isn't that much expensive than the regular Tractor Supply run-of-the-mill galoshes, or whatever you call them, plastic shoes. But anyway, so yeah, that's what's been going on, and it actually arrived pretty fast. So if you're in the market of a good quality garden shoes, Hunter is very good quality. I have the rain boots, and you know, and they're very good. You know, the shipping, like I said, was pretty quick, and no problem at all with that purchase. So there's that. But anyway, I want to show you, I think I haven't shown you because it didn't bloom since my last video, this cardinal vine. And I've told this story a long time, but I planted it a long time ago. Oh my goodness. So sorry. I'm having equipment malfunction. But anyway, hold on one second. Okay, that better not happen again. Anyway, it was run over with a lawnmower. It never bloomed for years, probably over 5 years. And finally, you know, I made the tea garden, and they volunteered, and look, they're just rambling in this whole area right here. There was actually one that was climbing the cattle panel, but a friend of mine took it, and I'm just glad that it survived. So it's not in the cattle panel anymore, but it's everywhere else. But speaking of a cattle panel, that black-eyed Susan vine had already has taken off, and so was my bitter melon. And look at all the flowers on that bitter melon. Amazing. So I think I have leftover seeds from the packet that I bought, so I'm definitely planting that again. I have yet to make tea. I just harvested some fruit, so I think I'm gonna try first the fruit tea, and then I'm gonna try before the first frost. I'm gonna try to make tea from the leaves as well. So this is tea garden after all. So I like that plant is versatile in that way, that I can make tea from the fruit and the leaves. But anyway, so it's climbing, that is climbing along with the black-eyed Susan vine in the cattle panel. And I was sad because I went to Pikes. Of course, I didn't do a haul because of the rain all of a sudden. And I was going to do a haul, but I decided to plant instead before the rain, because that really helps with the plant getting established. So, but anyway, I went to Pikes, and they had a already very well established fruiting vines, like a blackberry and a raspberry, all, you know, thornless, and they were on sale. And maybe I'll just go back. I was gonna plant it in the cattle panel as a permanent, you know, fixer, and then we can eat the fruit as well, because berries are always, you know, a good fruit. But anyway, look at that. So I think I'm gonna have fun with that next year. I think they're gonna be full of seedlings. So it's all in the ground. Oh my Lord. But it liked the heat so much. So it was late to get going because it was a very rainy spring here. And so I was like, I thought I was gonna regret buying it, but it was a sale as well. Like a grower was, you know, done with the season and putting everything on sale kind of thing. So yeah, I really like it. I don't know what I'm gonna do next year, but either way, I'm gonna leave it again next year in that cattle panel. So, and the monarda here, which is the bergamot, is being kind of taken over, but it's all right. Looking at, oh wow, I didn't even see there's bitter melon fruit in there, and it's now gone to seed. So that's another interesting seed situation next year. So I put a plant support for the bergamot because it gotten really tall in the sunshine, and but then, you know, the bitter melon and the black-eyed Susan is climbing there as well. But you know, the bergamot is okay. So I just need to make sure that next year I'll pay more attention. So there's that, but I'm just loving the yellow flowers of the bitter melon. And so yeah, the rows here where the cardinal vine is growing you know, it was blooming a lot this year, and so I think it's taking a rest, and it's probably going to bloom again pretty soon because of the cooler weather. So yeah, I was very pleased with that Desdemona rose. And so let me just show you what I got from Pikes. And I got from Pikes another bronze fennel, because look how beautiful that fennel is. I love that shade of yellow. It's just so sweet. So sweet shade of yellow. And, you know, and I had, it's finally doing its beautiful thing of blooming, because I think I planted it last fall, and then it got eaten by caterpillars, because that's why I planted it. And so I bought another one because it's just beautiful, even if it wasn't for the caterpillars, you know. Hold on, let me get coffee. Because you know what's going to happen. That coffee is going to belong to the bugs if I don't drink it now. So, and here's another pretty fall, which is, it needs to be moved, truthfully, because look at the leaves. It needs to be in the sun. So I think I'm going to move it, and I'm going to plant either this Joe Pye. It's the little Joe Pye weed that butterfly, especially the monarchs, are, you know, in love with the flowers. I have to read if I can plant it in here because it's under the dogwood. And then also from the haul, I got this crane's bill, or the, you know, the perennial, oh my god, geranium. I don't know why I am blanking out, but anyway, so I planted it in here. It likes kind of part shade, so it, like I said, it was a sale plant. That's why it looks kind of, you know, not optimum condition. So you know, it's, I already have Roseanne as well, but you know, it's sale, and I could always use a geranium, a hardy geranium somewhere in the part shade area. So that's that. And then, like I said, I have a little Joe Pye weed that I wasn't able to plant because the rain and the thunder and the lightning started to come in. But this other one is the Robert Klein bee balm, and it's a native. That's why I got it, because bee balm, the cultivated bee balm, there's a lot of issues with them, with rust, or those disease and black spots and all that, rust mostly. But this is a native, and when this blooms, when this open up, it's so stunning yellow, beautiful color. So yeah, I wasn't able to plant that, so I'm gonna do it today. And what else did I get? Oh, so I planted this short Leatris. I have tall ones in here. See, this guy that I planted last winter from a bag from like Home Depot or Walmart. I can't even remember. So I planted a couple of those, and and also in the other garden areas. But I didn't have this variety, and the butterflies really love Leatris. So I'm trying to find the other varieties. I'm still looking for the white one. And the varieties vary in size and hopefully blooming time as well, because this is a fall blooming and my other ones are spring blooming. So the butterflies actually, well, the pollinators, like the other pollinators, like the bees, actually get them, but then the butterflies don't, but they love them. So this is the dwarf variety, and it's called the microcephala Leatris. So yeah, anything. So this bed will be blooming from spring to fall, hopefully. And so this is one. It's beautiful, and there's a tag, and a Solidago, whatever, as well. I bought two different varieties. I already have the native variety that I dug up with the Native Society, and then I know a guy or a nursery that is selling the early blooming variety. So that is the goldenrod that I got. Okay, what's the name of it? It's actually called, hold on, I need glasses. So the other one was Fireworks, and I'll show you that in a minute. But this one is called, oh, this is the Fireworks. I'm sorry. So it's the taller variety, which is, hold on, I'll show you the tag. There you go, bloom time in the summer, which it's still summer. And then it grows to, I guess, 18 inches. Oh, no, I'm sorry. 36 to 48 inches. You can read it. And then part sun to part shade, zone 4 to 9. So yeah, I was just realizing that I didn't have a lot of fall blooming pollinator plants. That's why I'm, scrambling to get more goldenrod. So it's about to bloom actually, so if you can see it. And then the other one is in the front, and I'll show you. But while we're here, so actually I was able to plant more stuff in here because if you remember, I dug up, which I didn't want to, but I finally got really tired of it because it's starting to kind of flop. A Gora that has gone wild, like gotten big like a bush, which the other one is right there. See that? And so it actually just started blooming because of the rain. And so I'm gonna have to dig that one up as well. So I was thinking that's where I was gonna put the Robert Klein Monarda or the Joe Pye, depending on what Joe Pye's sun requirement is. And then of course so I have these guys as well that I planted. So I think they're not gonna bloom until next year. I planted them with the Liatris. So these are the Echinops. So there's 1, 2, 3 in here. And so yeah, I guess they will bloom next year. They didn't bloom for me this year. And then the Pugster Blue Butterfly Bush by Proven Winners is still going, and thankful for that. Otherwise, this garden would have been bare of flowers. And then the Cosmos, the reseeded Cosmos, is about to bloom again. And so yeah, that's, and you know, like I said, without the Pugster and that Liatris. But the Liatris, that Gora didn't bloom really that much until now. So it was just sitting there, smothering a lot of, you know, understory plants like that other hardy geranium in there. And so that's why I finally took that one out. But other than that, there's the zinnias, and then I have the sedum, and then I had these actually, the, what is it, Margarita hostas, the 2 of them. They bloom as well in the summer, and I just deadheaded them. So yeah, nothing much, but that's why we're doing a video, so we can remedy the, you know, the problems of the garden, like lack of blooms in certain time of the year. And also this one, I actually saw, I know there's no flower, I saw a butterfly was just hanging out in there. So this is that dark, I don't even have the tag anymore. I didn't even bother to look at the tag, because it was just a little tiny plant, 4-inch coleus, and not very much money. And you know, I'm gonna plant that again next year. It's very beautiful. I don't do anything to it, but look how, but it didn't get crazy big either where it would flop and, you know, crowd in whatever the other plants in there. So yeah, so this zinnia I just deadheaded, so it doesn't have a bloom. But yeah, so the only interest there is the seed head, which is gonna create lots of seeds. Self-sowing is the phlox. It's the purple phlox in there. And then another, and this is the butterfly, the incarnata butterfly weed, orange. And it was blooming recently. And the seed pods is an added bonus interest to this plant. So, but another haul is a tall Stokes aster. So yeah, I have Stokes aster, but they're short, and so I thought I'll get that as well. And look how pretty it is blooming in there. And here is the other solidago, and this is called Solar Cascade Goldenrod, and that is the short variety. So yeah, so it is gonna be 2 to 3 feet. So the other one is 3 to 4 feet. So, but look how pretty it is, about to bloom. And I planted it in here because it's a short variety, which is close to the front of the border, because this zinnia is going to be gone, but you know, and so next year we don't know if that zinnia is going to come back in that specific location. So whereas we know for a fact this is coming back next year in that specific location. So I can't wait for it to open. And can you imagine the yellow and this color zinnia, which is also a volunteer. And there's that monster. And look, it's now covering the germander in there. So it probably have to go pretty soon. So, and then the Mexican sunflower, it's still continuing to bloom, and the pollinators are loving that as well. So the sun is coming out. Surprise, surprise. And also, yeah, I was saying that I realized I don't really have a lot of fall blooming plants, except for the obedient plants, which they're finally mostly open. So this whole bed, actually, I call this my fall border, because most of the things in here are fall blooming, like this chives, garlic chives. It's so pretty, and I'm looking for some more to plant in the tea garden as well, because I love the color, and of course it's a chives. And so here's the other dark stemmed sedum, just like the one under the excuse me, under the dogwood. And so yeah, this is just my fall border. And yeah, as you can tell, all the bees are in there right now, and the butterflies are just coming out because it's finally getting warmer. And then this bluebeard, it's still giving them something to eat. So, and look how pretty it is for the that little moment there for the obedient plant growing underneath the Coreopteris or bluebeard. So I'm thinking I'm gonna plant that bee balm in here, that Robert Klein, and I know there's that rose in there, but it's probably not a good idea. And if not, I think I'm gonna plant it where the bush, turn bush, Gora, I'm gonna plant it there, and one more maybe in there, the Monarda, and then the little Joe Pye I'll plant over here. That way, you know, it's a win-win. It's not gonna contribute to the black spot with the rose, because you know how Monarda, they have the same issue with the roses in the south. And so this moonflower that I planted to cover the stump, you know, like I said, I planted the whole packet, but it didn't all come out, only one, but it gave me a bunch of blooms. And I'm hoping next year there will be a lot of reseeded moonflower and would really cover that stump and actually also accompany the gnome that's sitting on the stump, like Prince Charles' gnome in his garden. And so yeah, and then that grass has gotten big, so maybe I'll take some of that grass and plant it in the new garden by the gate. So that is the situation of the butterfly garden and the tea garden. And so if I span you in this side, this is the original sunny border, herbaceous border. Well, I don't know about that because now I planted that tree. But you know, this has changed so much from where I started. Before, when I started, there used to be a tree where that limelight is. There used to be an oak tree. It was covered with wisteria, and there used to be a small tree, Rose of Sharon, beautiful, beautiful tree there. And they've all gone and went on. And so everything here is still a work in progress, tweaking and, you know, choice of plants. But, you know, I'm just trying to be patient because that volunteer sucker Rose of Sharon will eventually grow and be like an understory tree for that pine. And it would take care of that hole or that missing component that you feel when you look at that area. It'd be like something is missing there because that tree is so tall, and that understory, you know. And also I can plant other understory plants there, like maybe cercis, a beautiful, you know, cultivated variety. I have a lot of native cercis that are reseeding everywhere, so I can even do that. Anything, but I'm trying to be patient and see. You hear that thunder? And then the sun went away again. So I'm trying to be patient and let that Rose of Sharon do its thing and see how it does. And then also I just planted a bunch of things in there that will probably grow bigger next year. Like that guy right there. It actually looks like an ironweed. So we went to a nursery / antique store in Cave Springs, a smaller town close to Alabama. And there was a space next to it for like an open field for like a farmer's market situation thing. And in that area, there's this flowering plant growing there, and I kept looking at it and I kept going there, and my sister-in-law finally went to speak to the owner because I think she knows him, and he said, oh, that's just a weed, but I'll dig her a piece. And so he did. And so next year that's going to be a purple, like an ironweed, tall plant there. So, and then the native asters are soon to bloom as well. I'm trying to leave seed heads, echinacea seed heads for the finches, but it was just so, here's some in here. It was just so bad that I kind of took a lot, and I was gonna, you know, just spread all the seeds in places where, you know, there's an empty spot. And then this guy, which is the pineapple sage for the hummingbird, they didn't bloom, so I don't know. Maybe next year. Let's hope so. And so yeah, and another thing too that we can wait on and be patient for is that sky pencil holly. And you know, sky pencil gets really tall. So yeah, I'm trying to be very patient with this area and let it decide what it wanna be before I decide for it. And there's another liatris as well in there, if you can see that narrow leaf guy in there. So yeah, I bought the liatris corms in a bag, so there were plenty, and I just planted them everywhere. So, and like I said, they bloom in the spring, so I'm glad to find one that is late blooming. And so here's my nursery area from the full of plants that I'm waiting to plant. I'm waiting for the side yard where I stepped on a bunch of poison ivy to plant it there. This is a proven winner, bloomerang or sensation something lilac. And I just want it, I know they got scorched. It doesn't like full sun. That's why I'm waiting for the right place. But it's, you know, putting new growth. So it's going to be fine in this pot. And I just keep, you know, moving it around where a shady area is. And I thought, now I finally move it here along with the native plants that I dug up that I haven't planted yet. Because I'm waiting for the fall. And especially this low bush blueberries, I wanted them to kind of get established, their roots get established first before I plant them in the ground. And look, I finally met sassafras. So it was, I guess I dug, it was maybe a root next to the blueberry. And wow, sassafras is very, very beneficial to the ecosystem and to the garden. So I'm so glad. I know it gets big, but I'll find a place. I swear, I've been looking for a sassafras for a long time. And for this to be from our area, dug from, you know, the same soil. So yeah, I'm very, very happy. So, and then my big leaf or native magnolia, they made it. So, and again, I'm trying to get them established, and I should plant them pretty soon, probably late fall. And yeah, so I have 3 of them. I thought one died, but you know, my co-digger were telling me, just get a small one because the big one, you know, it's gonna die because it had really good root system. And if you know, cut the roots, whatever, it tends to not make it. But mine made it. So yay for plants that want to live. And then here's the best time for the oh my god, it looks like poison ivy, isn't it? Oh my god, Virginia creeper. It's the best time. They're gonna turn color. And that guy was just, I mean, you know, they're a weed in my area and they're just climbing that tree. And also in that planter or that stand that's there. So yeah, I didn't plant them, so I leave them there. Otherwise they get pulled when they're in the wrong place. And then this caladium aran is exceeded my expectations. I've killed so many caladiums before because I really love them, but this year I had success, so I'm gonna put them, the whole pot. I know this guy probably won't make it at all. It's a euphorbia, you know, that airy, I don't even remember the actual name, but it's a type of euphorbia, snow something, and it's an annual. It's a proven winner actually, and it's so pretty. It's supposed to get bushy when it's in the sun, but this is very shade. It's my dry shade garden, but you know, I like it. It's going leggy and it's clambering up the the Aran. I bought this caladium because it's Aran. The variety's name is called Aran, and my youngest son's middle name is Aran. So, and then this guy as well is such a nice contrast, and so yeah, that's why I probably get a cutting and root it in water and just plant it in the winter when it roots. But I'm definitely gonna put this in my breezeway, which is the previous owner actually built that breezeway as a greenhouse. It was fitted with a mister and all kinds of things. There's a potting area in there with a potting sink, and you know, so I'm gonna reclaim it. There's a bunch of hobby things in there, hobby but I think I can at least claim a little part of it where I can put plants for overwintering. And also this lady fern, New York fern, did really well in this container. Even though I sometimes neglected it, but the heuchera did well for a while. I think I'm gonna dig that up and put it somewhere. And then there's a primrose in there, so I'm pretty sure it will come back in the spring because they die back in the heat. So yeah, it's very messy right now because of all the leaves that fell down from the rain. And in this grass bed, I'm sad because the grama grass, I don't know, it looks like, but I'm gonna give it a chance. I'm gonna leave it there. I'm planning on making this whole bed a grama grass, which is I think this is the blonde ambition. It's called the eyebrow grass, but you can't tell it right now because it looks like it's dying. But I don't know if it will perk up sometime. And here's another, I paid pretty penny, you know me and my sale quest for sale plants, and you know, I got it from a mail order catalog, and that's why I put this support in there because it was small, and hopefully it will gain momentum. And I was just thinking that maybe the dogs went through here, see the blue flower, and actually had one where that cage was in here. It was in here, and it was boom shakalada, and it didn't make it. So I'm very sad about that. And then this grass is it's called Carly Rose. It's a really pretty. I think they're gonna do well next year. It's just, this bed is just brand new, full of brand new mulch and that kind of thing. So with my experience, especially with grass as well, they do better in the upcoming year after you plant them. So yeah, this is my sad looking grass bed. So yeah, but let me go see if I can step in here to show you this beautiful this is actually proven winner what is it called? It's not salvia. It's called verbena. So I think it was, I can't even remember. So it's kind of, it's, let me see if I see this. It's a beautiful color, pink. And then that same local plant grower, when his sale happened, I got that red verbena, which is, I think it was $1, and I thought I would just put it in that Guy Wolf pot. And this is the new small leaf, what is it called? Oh my God. But anyway, it's that fuzzy leaved, I'll tell you when it finally comes back into my brain. But anyway, I also bought the same place where I got that hardy geranium. It was actually bluestone perennial. So I got that that guy right there, which is hold on a second. And it turned out to be which I forgot. It was a biennial. So it's gonna grow taller next year and bloom. And so there's that. And then my kaleidoscope, which I also planted 2 more in the new garden, is finally putting on some growth, which it's not going to get any bigger than that. So but it's evergreen and it turns this beautiful different colors, hence the name kaleidoscope. So, but yeah, the red is just, it catches your attention. And so yeah, a lot of people don't like red in the garden, but so here I am. I'm standing on a rock in the middle of this sunny border. And here's my cedar. And I can't wait for that to grow and be, growing like that, not straight. So yeah. And the phlox David, I left the seed heads so it will seed everywhere. So David is a white phlox. And then the Verbena bonariensis, this is actually after I deadhead it and cut the stem where the old bloom was. It's gotten bushier, but shorter. But it will get taller next year. And here's another Mexican sunflower that I need to deadhead. So it will rebloom until frost. And I always do that, and it sometimes don't work, but I hope it works this time. Because I don't have my... Oh, that didn't work. That's too thick. I'll come back. So yeah, I always tiptoe. Whoa! When I step in the garden, so... But anyway. So that's what's going on. Not very, exciting. But what's exciting is this purple daylily, which is the purple de oro, has been blooming all summer. So look, there's more buds over there as well. So I'm very happy with this. I guess it means it's getting happier in there, because in the first year they just look pitiful. And here's my other milkweed. It's that whitish flower. It's another, I think there's 2 swamp milkweed. One is the pink and another one is white. I'm gonna move this to the butterfly garden because it has more richer soil in there, and I think it will do better there, and I can just tuck it in a little space. And here's the real swamp, which is the pink. And it's brand new. That's why, well, all of my milkweed actually look like that because they just do in the heat. But but it's there. And then my my wild erigeron is giving me a little tiny bloom. So I mean, I just love erigeron, and so when I found the native one when we were digging or rescuing, I dug one up. So there it is. And these are monardas, just the cultivated varieties. I'm hoping that they will bloom soon because they're fall blooming, as you know. And then I don't know if this guy, I just planted this false indigo or baptisia from a local native plant nursery, and I don't know, it doesn't look too good, but we'll see next year, I guess. Right, Monarda? Right. So yeah, so that's really all that is happening in the garden. And yeah, I was starting to, let me turn in this way. The grass in here under the viridis Japanese maple, which is underplanted with that beautiful razzle dazzle thyme. It looks like they're blooming, but it's the variegation of the leaf. But this oat grass, and look how they've turned color since I was here the other day. See how they turn that coppery color seed heads or flowers? It's beautiful for fall. And of course in the spring they're just, in the summer when they first bloom, they're just green, but they sway in the slightest wind, giving movement and life to the garden. So if you're considering, if you're not in the grass bandwagon yet, this is, this can, it doesn't look like a typical grass. So if you don't like grasses, consider this one. It's really, I love it. It's good in arrangement, to kind of like a filler or a spiller if you're, if you're planting term spiller. It's a good spiller for arrangement. So yeah, especially this time of year when the color is that. And then my helenium, and some daylilies are blooming as well. So this helenium, it kind of disappointed me. I know it's my second year of it, but I didn't have a lot of bloom. I was trying to decide if I should just let it go and let it be, but they usually get tall. That's why I put that plant support in there. But I'll let it out. Maybe it was mad at me for doing that. And then I planted that little canna that I dug up. It has dark leaves, so I thought it would contrast well with the helenium orange, multiple color actually. So when this gets established, I'm trying to plant more of this, and I don't want to move this or take away from this. So I'm looking for more. They're not really available locally somehow, so I usually get them by mail order. But I planted that for fall color, and it just didn't do well. So I want to plant more in the butterfly garden actually. So, and these are my caradonna. There's 2 of them, and so they're done blooming. And so, waiting for next year's season. And so yeah, so this garden bed, or the extension of this, is gonna be revamped. I'm gonna dig up all the nonsense in there, which is not nonsense, they're beautiful not daylilies. Well, there's daylilies in there too, and there's that old variety rose in there, and then that weed. But I have to take them all out because of the weed, that grass in there, and they're so hard to get rid of. So I'm gonna have to dig up everything, all the irises and the daylilies, and then smother it either with tarp or just put cardboard over it, and then redo it, and either replant the irises, because it was really pretty there, and I inherited it from the previous owner, and that's where it's always been. That's where I always remember it to be. And so yeah, so I might just put them back, and they're actually good growing underneath that blue pot as well. So yeah, so that's another project that I have to tackle, make this bed right here prettier. And I'm planning on putting I really want a dogwood because of the other 3 dogwoods in there. And so when they bloom in the spring, you see a row of dogwoods and then nothing here, which is kind of lopsided. But then I'm also thinking about maybe just planting that one of the big leaf or native, not camellia, magnolia in there, or another actually sweet bay magnolia. I have one where the moonflower is by the grass over there, and I thought if I plant one in there, it would give this area some height and maybe a little shade too for the plants, because this is blazing heat in here. So yeah, so that's what's going on. Not much going on really, because of the heat wave that we had. I mean, if the heat wave, this is what happened too. This is my heirloom. What is this? Not aster, but they, you see they have diebacks in the middle, but they're very tough, so they'll make it. And but yeah, so I guess this Nyphophia is giving me one last bloom for the year. That was actually a low sale rack vine, which is a $4. And I planted there to break up the leaf size and forms in there, and I'm looking for some more. So when I see some more, I'll get some more, because I really like it. They look like grass as well, so that's another option for the non-grass lovers out there. A Nyphophia, and it's really good to vary the leaf shapes and sizes in your garden. It gives it more depth, and I was trying to get that leaf in the garden. So there's another bluebeard. I'm actually digging one up under that old bird bath under there. They kind of reseed, but they're perennial, but they look like a shrub, which I love. And look, there's a fat bumble in there. They love it. So and they kind of take a rest in the heat of summer, and then when it gets cooler, they start blooming again like they are now. So there's that. So so yeah, the butterflies are not out yet. I guess they're thinking it's gonna, whoa, what was that? It's gonna rain again. so they're probably hiding still. But the bumbles are out and about. And oh, and here's another sale rack. So Lowe's sale rack haul. I got 3 of them. It's just a Mexican heather, and it's supposed to be an annual, but I think I can get away with it because this is gonna be full of leaves. So there was I don't know if you can remember, if you've been following me for a while, there used to be a tall brown, or not brown, but copper colored grass in there, and it got taller than the evergreen, so I took it out, and that's why there's a hole in there. So I was just gonna plant that to replace it, but pretty soon I'm gonna plant pansies and violas in there, so no big deal. I'm loving this ivy. I don't know if this is the duck feet, probably not, I can't remember. And then the dahlia, like I said, it's a good thing to plant dahlias in a container. There's actually 2 in there. One is this yellow, and they both in the same line with dark stems and dark leaves. It's called mystic. So I had this yellow, and then I have this I don't know if it's blooming. The other one has kind of dark fuchsia, like dark and moody color fuchsia. I mean, look, they've been reblooming a lot, and these are just spent blooms. When you know there's spent blooms, but they're kind of like longer, like the bud is round. That's how you know what to deadhead. So this is spent because it's kind of long, oblong. See, oblong, and then the bud is round like this. Did you know that? Yeah, well, you know, you learn as you go. And then this Lysimachia, I'm in love with this for forever. So yeah, it's, you know, it's a nice contrast, but it also picks up the dark coloration of the dahlia in the stem. Actually, see, the stem color is kind of reddish purplish. It's actually more prominent in the shade. So, but I'm gonna leave that there. I'm not gonna disturb that. It's probably gonna die back in the winter, but I'll make sure that that's not disturbed when I plant some pansies and whatnot in there. So yeah, and then in this side is just the asters waiting to bloom. And this Georgia aster, native Georgia, but the cup flower has been blooming on and off, which is a first. But then again, it's a new plant, so I didn't really know how it will do, but I need to deadhead that because the seed head's so heavy. But I actually used the seed heads in an arrangement. It was very pretty and different. And then of course the sorry, I hit it. And this sale red geranium is still hanging in there, along with the perennial lantana, which is bush-like lantana, which is also a native. So that's another, you know, not just fall but all year blooming pollinator plant. So yeah, it's like I said, it rained. I planted in the rain late yesterday. It was getting dark, thundering and lightning, and so I finally stopped, and I thought tomorrow would be a good day to film for you guys or for you guys to come in the garden with me. And so it's been a while. There's stuff going on. As a matter of fact, tomorrow we'll have a baby shower for my son's soon-to-be daughter, and I can't wait to share that with you when the time comes. A little feet running around the garden, and I can't wait for that to happen, to teach and, you know, to hope that my love of gardening will get passed on to the next generation. So yeah, that's always a dream of mine. So and you know, for someone to love what I love as well in my family. But you know, I have boys, and they're always not into or don't have time for the plant world. But you know, so yeah, wait for that little nugget to come in and hopefully run around in the garden with me. So until next time, I hope you're having a good Saturday, and maybe having pumpkin spice something. I mean, it's everywhere. So but yeah, so I hope you're having a pumpkin spice kind of Saturday afternoon in the garden, I hope. And thank you for walking in the garden with me today. So until next time, I'll see you guys again somewhere down the garden path. Bye.